Oh, hello there. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you guys again. I know it's been a long hiatus. This college break, I've went full gung-ho on Christmas, and I haven't had time to make a video. So to make it up for you, I wanted to make a video on the SKS since I was young. So welcome back. My name is Tactical Terry, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the SKS carbine, and especially the Type 56. This is the most common SKS variant you'll find in the world. These were used in Vietnam, South Africa. I'm not going to say Serbia because Serbia, they had their own manufacturing of SKSs. Pretty much all over Indochina. We have my cat here today, Murder Mittens, providing a little bit of entertainment. But going on from there, this is a 20-inch carbine with a folding bayonet, a nice little sling here, 10-round box magazine, regular bolt that locks open on the last round, simple stuff. Sights that go out to 1,000 yards here, or 1,000 meters actually, my bad. And I wanted to get into some stuff about the SKS that a lot of people don't really want to cover, and that's, is it still viable? Is this still viable? Yes and no. The gun itself, back in the day, a lot of preppers used to like them. I used to know a bunch of preppers in my community that have since passed, and this used to be the go-to gun that they would recommend. If you're going to bug out, this would be the rifle everybody would recommend because it could have so many possibilities for loading. People really just liked them because they worked good. My cat likes this gun, for fuck's sake. These guns were reliable, they just worked, they were good, and I will attest to that. They work. They do their job. I'm not going to stand here and say it's the best gun around, but if you're trying to get out of a bad situation in a pinch, this can work. Maybe back in the day, this was the go-to, and I will say this was the go-to back in the day. I will admit, I was definitely a person who was like, you know, if something bad happens, because when I was really young, I didn't own an AR. I actually owned an SKS, but it was a Yugo. I still have my Yugo. It's just not at this bunker I'm in currently. That being said, this Type 56 was probably one of my favorites that I've owned. It's a lot lighter than the Yugo. It's a lot easier to manipulate. The only problem is the stock is very short. You really can't fix that unless you start adding like wood spacers, which compromise the stability of your stock. That being said, we'll work on that today. What else I want to cover? The gun just works. That's all I can say about it for reliability. As long as you put good ammo in it, it'll work. As long as you put steel case or whatever, it'll run whatever you kind of put down the pipe. So, can you not do that to me? So getting started, a couple feeding methods. SKS magazines. I have since retired these. These do not work in like any rig. They're really nice, like if you have like a dump pouch and you have a hold of these, and like you have maybe one in the gun, if that's your go-to. Like if you have one in the gun, that's really kick-ass because you can actually easily rock this with just one in the gun. Like 20 rounds on tap in this gun would be awesome. Gives you plenty of time. Stripper clips are a fan favorite for everybody. You know, you just throw that in the fucking ground there, Terry. Let's do that. Stripper clips are awesome. You just, if you get good stripper clips anyway, these are shitty ones. Just like that. Press it all the way down. Pick up your stripper clip. It'll send the bolt home like so. And then your gun's loaded. So we'll just empty this, which the emptying process is very easy. Simply just pop those in your hand and then all good on that. Scoot these over here. And probably one of my other favorite ways of doing it. This is why people really like the rifle, because if you have loose rounds or maybe you're not a magazine guy, maybe you can't afford magazines, it's really popular to just grab loose rounds. You can just pop them in there one by one. Well, it's a slow process, and this is why people really like it in DayZ. If you play DayZ, people really like the SK just because you can literally, you can take rounds from your backpack and just load it. Sure, it takes a lot longer than just popping in a magazine, but when those magazines run out, you'll be wishing you had an SK. And the SK in the game is a really good DMR. And in real life, I'm not going to say these are DMR rifles, but they are minute-of-man rifles. They can hit a man-sized target out to 300 effectively. I'm not going to say push it out to like 500 and 1,000 to see your luck, but yeah, you can do that. And when you're done, you just simply We're just doing that because I don't want the firing pin to detonate something and then we're bad. We're going to be on the fucking cover of the Darwin Awards, which I really not want to be a part of. So that's done. Again, you just do this. You pop out your mag, grab the rounds, pop them over here, pop this down, all good. Now, that being said, this thing has a lot of ways to load it. And personally, how I used to run this was I used to put a 20-round mag in it. I used to run 20 rounds in it. And then when I ran out, I just run stripper clips 10 rounders the whole way. So I still keep this mag because in case of shit hits the fan scenarios, this thing is awesome. It'll work. They're pretty reliable. If you buy like Tapco, or I think Tapco's the big one, that or like Butler Creek, I'm not sure. Tapco's the big one though. The Tapco mags work probably the best in my opinion from what I've seen. And just so we get the bayonet action in there. Yes, you can use the bayonet to poke people. And for all those chair warriors out there who think they're going to be going in for a bayonet charge, it does have the is it tri? Yeah, it's the tri groove, so it's harder to sew up in the battlefield and so on and so forth. That being said, getting away from all the morbid stuff that people like to talk about, this thing is awesome. It's a really fun gun. If you're really young and you're like a really young kid and you're thinking about upgrading this and trying to turn it into an AK, don't do that. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money. Do not try to go and turn this thing into a damn AK. This is an SKS for a reason. I had that problem when I was young. I was always trying to tacticalize and modernize my rifles. This one cannot be modernized past probably putting a scope mount on this or a red dot mount and then just adding detachable box magazines. If you add a pistol grip and everything, you're just making a modern art masterpiece. And if you don't know what modern art masterpiece is to me, it just means a big pile of shit. This gun is a masterpiece in a Renaissance way. It's very good. It's perfect right out of the box. You literally can load it out of the box, no problem. You don't need to spare mags. You don't need any of that shit. Stripper clips are like, you can buy a pack of 20 for $8 on rtg.com or robertco.com. They're like 10 bucks for 20, 8 bucks for 20. That gets you pretty well set. That gives you like fucking 200 rounds ready to go on tap and just stripper clips. And then one of these little rigs, which I love these little rigs. Little SKS rig will cost you probably, fuck if I know. At the time when I bought this, I think it was like 12 bucks, and I think now they're going for like 20. So $20 gets you a decent little rig to run some ammo in. You toss a little backpack over your shoulders and just carry extra ammo, supplies, food, whatever you need. Very minimalist. You don't have to worry about, you know, like all of it, like all the fucking like adding pouches and shit. That's the big thing though. People don't like about the SKS rigs is because they're like, oh, I can't add this, I can't add that. Well, my guy, I'm telling you something right quick. This is a fucking SKS. I don't know what you're trying to add to this, but just keep a fucking backpack on you and live out of your pockets. Wear cargo pants. Get good cargo pants and long johns. I'll say that. And what I mean by good cargo pants and long johns is because usually tactical pants are very light and breathable, and that sucks when it's cold outside, especially as of right now. Everybody's going through that polar vortex. It's going to be cold as shit, and I recommend just wearing long johns under your shit, wearing long socks, make sure you're insulated. That being said, that PSA of Christmas is over. I just like this rifle. I can't even be upset with it. I knew people who like really hate this gun, like tall people really hate this gun because they are like, oh, I get really hunched over and I can't see my sights and it's uncomfortable to shoot and yada, 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 and all this other BS. I'm like, okay, so you realize this was developed for people that are shorter than you. And by shorter, I mean like 5'2", 5'1", very short people who are very big, who have smaller diets than us, who don't eat as much protein. And he goes, oh, that's horseshit. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. I'll never use that in combat, yada. I'm like, dude, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. I'll be honest. I'm not saying that I want to be in combat. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I'm ready for the collapse. I'm ready for this. I'd rather not. But if I had to, I know how to use this. I know how to operate effectively, zero it, clean it, take it down. I can teach somebody else how to use it in like 10 minutes or less with just like quick instruction, toss them a rig, say, hey, watch my back, buddy, I'll be back, or something like that, you know. You can easily teach somebody how to use this. And, you know, drawing from the rig is a little tricky, especially this one. I have a bad tendency for rounds to pop out in the bottom of my pouches. I don't think any are loose today. Yeah, I don't think any are loose today. But that being said, I definitely have that. I've had a problem where, you know, you pull out one and there's a round missing or two, and you're like, oh fuck, well that sucks. That kind of ruins the purpose of this, to keep, you know, everything organized. And as a quick side note, there are Yugoslav pouches where they hold like 4 stripper clips on each cell, and it just goes on your hip, which is really nice. Like if you're going to repair a fence, you're going to service something, and you're not sure what's going to be out there, having the SKS in the backseat of your truck or car or something is a good idea. Kind of like how the cops used to carry shotguns and a M1 carbine in the back of the patrol car, which then turned to like a shotgun into a AR-15 carbine or a Colt 7.73, I believe. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's really cool. I really love this rifle, and I hope you guys understand why I like this rifle. This might be a shorter video than normal. I was hoping for it to be longer, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I think before I wanted an AK, I always wanted this. I always wanted this before I got an AK, because I don't know. I thought the AK was like, it's kind of overrated as fuck, used everywhere. And then I realized after I got an AK, I'm like, this is overrated. Like people like say like, oh, you don't need an AK if you get an SKS. SKS works just fine, yada yada yada. And I got an AK, and I was like, oh, maybe they were wrong, you know? Maybe they were not telling the truth like they said they were. And yeah, this just fucking works, which I really enjoy. Effectiveness out to 300. It'll punch out there. Just know your holds. Zero your gun properly. Take the time to do that. Don't be that fucking person who gets it and like zeros it at 25 yards and goes, all right, that's perfect. That's all I need, you know? Take it out there. Make sure your gun hits at 100. Make sure it hits at 200. Make sure it hits at 300. If you're feeling really lucky that day, maybe push to 4 or 5. Maybe have some fun with that. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you how to live. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I am going to tell you, if you have the money and maybe you don't want an AR, maybe you're kind of afraid, which we'll get into this in the closet gun owners video. I wanted to make a video for closet gun owners who are like, oh, I'm afraid to get tactical guns because of my neighbors. We'll cover that in another video later. But for a closet gun, this is really awesome, because some dude is going to walk by and go, oh, it's just some dude's old hunting rifle. It's just some old dude's hunting rifle. It's not a big deal. Like, you know, some of the more naive women out there and whoever else, non-binary fuckers out there, will just think, oh, this is just granddaddy's hunting rifle. It ain't anything really scary or anything like that. But to somebody else on the range, or to somebody like a FUD, they might say, oh, that's just Soviet crap. It don't work for shit. Da 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 da. Ignore them. This thing is just as good as their Mini 14. This thing is just as good as their M14. This thing will work. This thing is about made in the same era, and this thing is probably better than the Mini 14, and probably better than a M1A nowadays. For the price nowadays, you cannot get them as good as you used to. I picked this one up for $500 when I was young. I picked up my Yugo for around $300 when I was really young. And it came with all the bobs and bits, including pouches, stripper clips, oilers, all the equipment you'd need to keep your SKS running. At the time, this was probably early Trump era, so it was really cool to get a hold of one. I also got a moist nugget, or Mosin as for some people, and a nugget pistol, or the Nagant pistol, and those are kind of my go-tos. And then I got a Serbian. What was it? I got an M57 Tokarov afterwards, and those kind of became like, I kind of had this terrible mindset when I was younger, like, oh, if the fucking whoever invades or the government turns against me, all I need is my SKS and I will be fine. And then I kind of like realized, I'm like, you know, making a mag change is a lot easier than putting a fucking stripper clip in your gun, because these are finicky. They can be finicky. I won't be the first to admit, but these are very finicky. They are not good. I will say, like, if you get it down, you get your reload down, like, really good. No, you're really fucking, that's the problem. You try to push these in, and, like, let me grab another stripper clip. Let me find another stripper clip in a random pouch here and just see how buttery it is, because I know some of these, they are like butter. So we have another one here. That's the problem. You shoot off rounds. Now I've got to go looking for this son of a bitch, which I have no idea where it went. So that's not cool. And then now we're just going to do our usual, which is, yep, dump it out. Make sure gun's clear, gun is clear. So yeah. That was behind me. Thank you, Cato. So yeah. Kind of final notes. This gun is useful. It can be still used in a modern day context, sort of. A lot of guns I've had lately on here is like, are these guns still viable? Sort of. Yes, this platform can still be viable if you're willing to take the admission of your reloads are going to be a lot slower than an AR-15 and or AK. Your accuracy is going to be a little lower than an AR-15 or even an AK or sometimes Mini, depending on what it is. That being said, if you want to tacticalize your SKS and you bought it, by all means, do that. Bubble your gun. I don't care. That's up to you. If you don't want to buy an AR-15 and you're so hell-bent against not buying an AR-15 or AK-47 because of assault rifles and yada yada, I don't give a fuck. That's up to you. But at the same time, you got to understand people are going to give you a lot of shit, and you got to accept that shit, and you just can't get on Reddit and post your gun and go, just as good, because it's not. The AR-15 will beat you in accuracy and speed reloads and all sorts of shit. These do not go well in AR-15 pouches or even AK pouches or whatever. You cannot store these properly in mag slots. They don't work. I've tried to make them work. I've tried to figure out a way to make them work. I've tried looking at adapter companies. All the adapter companies usually go broke because they can't get enough traction out there for people to buy their adapters. The closest thing I found was in Texas. They make an adapter for about $250, $300. Literally goes in your gun. It fits in there. You just screw it tight, and it usually uses ASC AR-15 mags for 7.60x3.9s. It works fine. It does good. It's pretty kick-ass. The only problem is that they don't produce them anymore. You have to call and order them personally from them. And I'm like, I do not want to go through the hassle of just getting on the phone with somebody and having to place an order and then waiting to get one. So therein lies the problem. I do not want to wait. I'm very impatient. So why would I wait for this when I can just go in my room and grab the 7.62x3.9 AR-15 H-bar? Like, why shouldn't I do that? It was actually a lot cheaper and a lot more accurate than this. So what's the point? Heritage, I guess. Another point is maybe that's all you have. Maybe this is all you can afford. Maybe a friend sold it to you for $300 and said, hey, I don't shoot it anymore. I don't feel like shooting it. Here's this and all the shit that came with it. Take it. Which nowadays, that's probably not going to happen. It used to be a common thing in my hometown where people traded a lot of Soviet guns for good shotguns. And now they're looking to trade old sporting shotguns for good Soviet arms or good just AR-15s in general. Because I think people are thinking something bad's going to happen soon, and I can kind of feel it in my bones. And I'm not trying to do fear-mongering. I hope you guys know I'm not trying to fear-monger or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell you guys, like, hey, maybe you should probably be looking out for yourselves and getting prepared as much as you can, you know. Do your basic essentials, food, ammo, medical supplies, a little bit of entertainment, so like board games, cards, you know. A lot of people don't think about that, but if you don't have entertainment, you're going to go fucking insane. I've known this for a while, that if you don't have anything to entertain you, that's how people fucking kill each other. That's why cabin fever is a thing. People get bored and they decide, oh, I'm just gonna fucking do my own thing, and I'm just gonna, who cares, like, you know, whatever, it's not my problem, you know? Or like sanity is a big thing. People don't realize this, but you gotta take care of your sanity, which now people call as brain health or mental health or what we call like emotional health, stuff like that. So your sanity is a big thing, so you gotta take care of it. So have like cards to play solitaire or like bullshit, or like even sorting them will keep your brain busy enough for you not to give a fuck about stuff and keep your mind off stuff. That's a thing. A lot of people I knew, like my grandfather, he had served in Korea, and a big thing he always told me, he was like, on downtime we would always try to find stuff to do, because that where we were sleeping, because we didn't want to think about what was going on. So for those of you out there, just keep yourself busy if you have that problem. Like a lot of vets, I think, with a big problem with them, I don't want to speak for them. I don't want to act like I've been out on several patrols and I've been doing this. a big thing for them is just they get it's hard to talk about because I've had friends who've had this stuff, but they haven't, you know, committed forever sleep. A big thing for them is they come back home, they have nothing to do, and all they do is think, and they're like, wow, my time over there was worthless. I did nothing to help, and yada yada. So they kind of sit in this vegetative state of, wow, this sucks. So keep yourself busy. Find something to do. Clean your gun. Disassemble it. Try it, and depends on what condition of readiness you are. Again, that's a whole other subject. Depends on what condition of readiness you are, but if you have something to do, clean your gun, maintain it, look at it, understand it. And for those of you who are like, well, I don't have enough time to train, or like, you know, I don't know my gun well enough. Well, here's what I do every night when I'm bored or like there's nothing to do. I'll turn on Netflix, and I'll just sit here with a gun that I haven't worked with in a while, and I'll simply just paw at it while looking away at the TV and just kind of doing my own thing, making sure I know how to operate it, how the bolt works, how it feels, making sure everything's fine, understanding how to hold it, you know, getting that idea. And I know people can say, well, that's very distracting when I have a loved one near me. I know you don't have a loved one. You're single, dude. You're single like me. You're probably sitting there doing nothing, drinking your coffee, eating your beer, and you're just like, oh, well, yeah, just sit in your room, fuck around with your SKS, close the blinds, don't freak out your fucking neighbors, fuck's sake. I don't know why I have to enunciate that, but yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. As always, please be safe, please be brave, please help people, be good to one another, you know. God put you on this earth for a reason. May he help you and guide you. That being said, thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I really want to get some more views, and I know I'm not pumping out videos like I should be. I know I've been slacking, but I'm going to try to get back onto it as soon as possible. Thank you, and goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and one more thing, we never talked about this. Little stock spacers. Little stock spacers can go on the end of your gun. I mean, this one doesn't fit as well, but it can give you enough length and a little bit more cushion on the end of your gun to really give you what you need. But again, you're gonna have to find one that fits snugly and tightly. That being said, again, hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you for watching. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is the post section. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I can't talk. I hope you guys are having a good day, and a couple comments here. The audio might seem choppy, but it's because I recorded in a bad way, so that's on me. I hope you guys enjoy, like, the little titles I put in here and there, just to be funny, as well as some of the information I put in there. I did some testing with the magazine. The magazine, that was not the magazine I originally used. The original magazine I had, I actually knocked down the feed lips a little bit so they could actually accept the strip clips a lot faster. And, yeah, get yourself some good stripper clips and really figure out which stripper clips work and which ones don't, so you're not, I don't know, in a tight situation. I wouldn't recommend this for, like, let's say, quote-unquote, combat, but, like, if you're prepping and, like, you're just using it to, like, I don't know, shoot a coyote here and there, or take down deer, I would be comfortable with that. And, you know, 10 rounds, and if you run, like, 30-round mags, you know, you could definitely take down a burglar or somebody who's on your property you don't want there. This gun can pretty much do it all. Very affordable, $500 nowadays, but they keep getting more expensive, so I'd recommend you guys really, like, if you're gonna get one now. If you don't, then better get an AR, so on and so forth. If you're in a banned state, this rifle's awesome, because, like, California, you can't own anything with pistol grips and all that, so the traditional style stock will be nice, except the bayonet will be cut off. That's not a big deal. Always put it on later. That being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, and please take care.